Since the end of the 44-day war in Nagorno-Karabakh and the trilateral statement of November 9, 2020, the Azerbaijani side has continuously resorted to various provocative actions along the Nagorno-Karabakh-Azerbaijani line of contact, violating the rights of Armenians of the Nagorno-Karabakh and committing crimes against their life and health. Ceasefire violations along the line of contact in Nagorno-Karabakh, as well as the encroachments upon sovereign territory of Armenia, have caused the Armenian side the lives of over 40 servicemen. Residents of border communities of Martakert, Martuni, and Askeron regions of Nagorno-Karabakh haven't been able to engage in agricultural work since the areas come under continuous fire from Azerbaijani military positions. The Russian peacekeeping force situated in Nagorno-Karabakh hasn't been able to receive the Azerbaijani side's guarantees for civilian security when engaging in agricultural work. As a result, 5,000 hectares of arable land has been left uncultivated, causing severe economic damage to hundreds of households and deepening their socio-economic deprivation. Since November 2020, the Azerbaijani side has used military, psychological, and economic intimidation tactics against the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. The situation has been deteriorating. In addition to continuous fires from Azerbaijani military positions at civilian infrastructure, projecting floodlights at the houses of people, hindering agricultural work, jamming telephone communication, the Azerbaijani side has issued threats against the civilian population of Nagorno-Karabakh. Late February, Azerbaijani armed forces used loudspeakers to threaten the residents of Kharamort to leave the village or else face danger to their lives.
Leave the territory. Your current activities are illegal. We demand to stop all the works and leave the territory immediately. Otherwise, you will face the use of force.
The calls were accompanied by azan recital, which carries a specific meaning with a hidden message to attach a religious component to the Nagorno-Karabakh issue. Throughout years, Ilham Aliyev has actively fueled anti-Armenian sentiments not only within Azerbaijan, but also in the societies of Turkic-speaking and Muslim countries, criticizing them for lack of pressure on Armenia. Aziz Ali Bayli, head of press service at the Center for Social Studies, recently stated that addressing the Kharamort villagers through loudspeakers and reciting azan was a serious warning. He suggested that even under the current international circumstances, there might be what he called anti-terrorist operations in Karabakh. The timing of rising tensions coincide with the conflict in Ukraine. Azerbaijan has clearly calculated its actions in Nagorno-Karabakh can go unnoticed as the world remains focused on Ukraine. The Azerbaijani intimidation of the Nagorno-Karabakh has continued in March. On the night of March the 8th, the only gas pipeline to Nagorno-Karabakh was damaged, depriving the entire population of Nagorno-Karabakh of gas. The damaged section of the pipeline is located in the area under the control of the Azerbaijani armed forces. The Azerbaijani side has hindered the repair of the gas pipeline, causing a range of humanitarian problems, exacerbated by low weather temperatures. Around 100,000 of the approximately 120,000 citizens currently living in the country are now deprived of access to heating and hot water. Since the 7th of March, the Azerbaijani armed forces started using high-caliber weapons as opposed to small-caliber firearms fired before that. On March the 7th, the Azerbaijani armed forces shelled the administrative area of Kharamort community in the Askeran region from a 60mm mortar. As of March the 11th, the offensive has continued. On March the 9th, the Azerbaijani armed forces shelled the administrative area of the Khanushinak community of Martuni region from a 60mm mortar. Agricultural work was halted immediately to avoid casualties. Kharamort and Khanabad communities in the Askeran region were similarly targeted by shelling. Azerbaijani side fired at and damaged a tractor. On the 10th of March, Suren Bagharian, a resident of Kharamort, was injured as a result of Azerbaijani shelling. On the 11th of March, shelling at the direction of Khanabad community resulted in the evacuation of school children. On the same day, 2 shells exploded in the administrative area of Kharamort and Khanabad communities. Since March the 7th, 2022, the Azerbaijani side has used a 60mm mortars, firing a total of 43 shells in the direction of Nagorno-Karabakh. Targeting civilians is not a new element in Azerbaijan's policy. On November the 8th, 2021, the Azerbaijani side fired at civilians carrying out construction works on water supply pipes near Shushi. 1 civilian died and 3 were injured. Similarly, a civilian busy with agricultural works was killed in Nagorno-Karabakh city of Martakert on October the 9th the same year. These actions, coupled with a war rhetoric by the leadership of Azerbaijan, are meant to intimidate the people of Nagorno-Karabakh and force them into exodus. The hybrid warfare used against the Armenian population has also included disinformation techniques. On the March the 11th, the official Facebook page of the Nagorno-Karabakh National Assembly was hacked, where the Azerbaijani flag was posted and threats were addressed to the civilian population, urging them to leave Karabakh within 168 hours. In parallel, the Azerbaijani side comes up with territorial claims not only to Nagorno-Karabakh but also to the sovereign territory of Armenia as well. Numerous conferences are being actively organized in Baku, praising the Turkic origin of the present-day Armenia, anticipating the return of Azerbaijanis to what they call ancient lands. All these actions clearly reveal the true intentions of Azerbaijan, that is, ethnic cleansing of Nagorno-Karabakh of its Armenian population, destroying Armenian settlements and replacing them with Azerbaijani ones.